everyone, and welcome to an all-new episode of the LoudCasa Talks. My name is Nate, and alongside is my good old buddy, Omid.
Hey, what's up, LoudCasa crew? How are y'all doing? Hope you're having a loud day, loud crowd.
Hope they have a good week, to say the least. We met up last Sunday to talk about Lori, and now we're going to do our little mini episode where we talk about the review the episodes that happened last Friday, which was Hurl Interrupted and Diamonds Are For Never. So I want to talk to you, Omid. How has your week been so far?
My week so far has been okay. I'm still trying to get back up on my feet, fully. I'm currently doing door dashing to keep myself busy and to make myself some income. But at the same time, I'm also trying to find myself a job. So, best of luck to me, man.
Yeah, best of luck to you. But unfortunately, oops, sorry, that's not supposed to pop up now. Yeah, best of luck to you. But unfortunately for me, today, I think this week is my worst week of all. Just because yesterday I got fired from my job. And of course, I'm really bummed. I didn't expect it to happen. I'm, absolutely sad. Literally, I'm thinking about just I need something to motivate myself. So right now I'm trying my best to at least, manage and try to review with you guys tonight because we still have a show to do. It's just really unfortunate that this popped up right when we were about to head over to a show. When we were supposed to hang out together, when we were supposed to do this and that. It's just really frustrating that this happened to me, and I'm now don't know what to do. So it's really pissing me off.
Oh, dude, listen, dude. I'm really sorry about what happened to you yesterday, man. I know you did your absolute best, but things didn't quite work out so well. It's just I'm really sad, dude. I'm really sorry this happened
to the person who got fired. So I'm really sad myself. So
dude,
I don't know.
Dude, I'm really sorry this happened because let me just say, I totally sympathize with your situation because, I myself got fired recently too. Last month, I got fired from a retail job because apparently I made a mistake that cost them some money, but money shortage. Apparently, and I didn't know about this until the week after the incident. But but the thing is that they were working me real hard, 6+ days per week.
6+ hours a day.
No,
right?
no, 6+ days a week, over 5 days per week.
Oh.
I was getting overstressed and all that stuff. So, it kind of made me lose focus a bit. So,
when you get fired, it really is the worst feeling because the thing is that you're working, all that stuff. And then you get pulled by your manager and your manager pretty much tells you your last day is today. And then you go to HR, you pretty much sign paperwork. And then when you get back to your desk or your workplace, everybody is gone. Nobody is around you anymore. Because literally it's just you and the HR person just pretty much saying, hey, get your stuff and get the heck out of here. So I'm literally banned from the company. It's I can't even go in the offices anymore. I can't even associate with my coworkers anymore. That's the worst feeling to have. Wow, I cannot associate with y'all anymore. I've had some connections with you guys, but really being fired and being shunned from a company, that's the worst. That's really bad. Did I really do a bad job? Did I really do some shitty thing like that? I don't know. It was such a bad feeling yesterday. All I can say.
Dude, I'm really sorry, man. I mean, honestly, those guys are assholes, man. You did your best, and the way they treated you, that's a dick move on their part, I'd have to say, because I know you did your best. I'm sure you did your best, just like I did my best. Just like I did my best with, my most recent job, and I got canned for a mistake that I didn't even know that I made until the week after. It really sucks for me too. It sucks for both of us, man.
Yeah, well, maybe we're gonna hang out a lot more often now that we're, fully vaccinated and stuff. So hopefully this week, I'm just gonna try to get this whole firing out of my head, and hopefully next week things will get better. And yeah, we'll see. Anyways, enough of the drama thing that's going on between us with our little jobs and stuff. We're kind of unemployed, but we'll find our jobs. We'll be back on our feet eventually. we have a review show to talk about. So let's immediately head over to our episode reviews. Like I said, we're going to be reviewing 2 episodes. One is Hurl Interrupted and Diamonds Are Forever. So let's head over to our first episode, Hurl Interrupted. Synopsis here reads, Lynn tries to stall her friends for riding the new coaster before they find out her big secret. So we get to see Lynn and her teammates win another roller derby contest. You've seen that before over at Singled Out. And this time around, they actually win Dairyland tickets. So another visit to Dairyland, for just like, what Ronnie, Ann, Lincoln, and Sid did. So it's like, I don't know what. Dairyland's becoming a big importance now for the Loud House, I imagine. So they were excited for a brand new roller coaster that came out, except for Lynn, who was shocked to hear that they're going to be riding a roller coaster. Omid, how did you like the approach here when you get to see Lynn actually have a fear or something?
When I saw that Lynn has a fear of throwing up, of all things, I was like, okay, that fear seems a bit too far-fetched for someone like Lynn. Now, don't get me wrong. Having a fear is perfectly natural and human, even with the toughest of individuals. But Lynn's fear came off as far-fetched, like I said, and also quite inconsistent. Because, okay, number one, didn't she throw up before, like tripped, for example? Hello, right? And two,
we can talk about more continuation again.
And to quote a friend of ours, continuity, what's that? And number two, reason numero dos. So you're telling me that Lynn, during 13 years, over a decade of her life, only threw up once or twice? Come on, right? I mean, like, a lot of people have thrown up, much more times by that age. And number three, this is a girl that is really big into exercising and eating, like, so much. And with the combination of the two things that she loves to do, she must have thrown up much more often in her life, considering how we have seen her exercise way too much or eat one too many subs. I'm just saying. But as a fear story, I gotta say it is quite effective because it delves into the psyche of how even the toughest of athletes and the fiercest of people can have internal fears of their own. Because let's be honest, it happens to everybody. Everybody has a fear. I have a fear. Yeah. You have a fear. Everyone around here, the LoudCasa group, y'all have fears too. Don't you deny it. Don't you deny it.
Yeah, everybody has a fear. The thing is that Lynn's fear kind of irked me. I'm like, you hate hurling? I'm like, wait. So you hate hurling randomly, or do you hate hurling like in general? Like, you eat a lot of like really weird foods that make you want to throw up, and other things that we see that we've seen you throw up on, and somehow that fear have never brought you up there. And apparently, in an episode like this, Lynn actually shows the fear off, like when she tries to stall her friends. We're gonna get to it a little bit. But the fear of hurling, I don't think was effective enough. My thing is that if it was like a fear of roller coasters, it makes sense in this case. So, I don't know. I don't understand why they had to be the hurl part. The roller coaster part would make sense because, there's some people who are actually like scared of roller coasters. And you know what? There's some older people that are still scared of roller coasters. The thing is, like, in this situation where she's just scared of hurling, I'm like, that's I think nothing. You can hurl again, and then you probably will not fear it. I mean, like Lynn's little get bit of why she fears it is because of the taste, because it lasted her for a week or two or something like that. I don't know. It's crazy. I think like I said, her fear should have been better off if it was like a roller coaster fear instead of like hurling. So
honestly, like, I gotta say this, like, if she really was scared of hurling, if she really did have a fear of hurling, then she wouldn't have eaten nearly as much food and subs as we have seen her eat, right? I'm just saying.
Right. I know, but you know what? They put this hurling story for Lynn, and I'm like, maybe. Anyways, now something I didn't expect to see, where Lynn actually asked advice from one of Lincoln's friends, Clyde McBride actually did appear in this episode. I mean, she did it before with Liam because, Liam, they need a baseball player, and Liam actually throws a pretty good curveball. But how did you like this little interaction with Lynn and Clyde at this moment here?
I'm not going to lie. It was nice to see Clyde stepping up to help other members of the Loud family besides his best friend, Lincoln himself. Now, obviously, this is not the first time that we have seen Clyde play that kind of significant role. Look at Baby Steps when he was trying to take care of Lincoln's sisters and help solve their problems. It really does show that Clyde is like family to the Louds in a sense. And he does try to give helpful advice to Lynn that she should not be afraid of having a fear, own up to the fear, admit your fear to your friends in order to get it off your chest. And Clyde even mentions that Dr. Lopez tells him this. Well, as he always mentions Dr. Lopez. Now, sure, Lynn does decline and refuse to listen, but Clyde did try his best here. And you know what? I actually do commend him for that. Now, it doesn't fully redeem him for his actions of flying solo.
Oh,
but
come on.
But I will say, it was still refreshing to see him do good again.
Yeah, I mean, like, look, he's helping out Lynn. And the other thing, too, is like, look, all Lincoln, Clyde, and all of his friends are pretty much all in junior high. So eventually you're going to have that interaction where like Lynn will interact with Liam in this case, where the junior hires would interact with the Louds. AKA you see Paula, you see Lynn, you see like others are going to probably interact with them more. And I'm just pretty happy the fact that Lynn is like looking to Clyde because Clyde has some, Clyde's a pretty helpful person. And I would imagine more of like Lincoln's friends just being advisories of like advising people to the Louds. So I'm pretty happy that interaction happens. By the way, we've been noticing that a lot, by the way. Loud friends, Lincoln's friends are interacting with the Louds more, like even the older and younger ones. Look at the next episode we're going to be
Look at the next episode.
Look at the next episode we're going to go into. Stella is going to need help from Lana, and Lynn needs help from Clyde. Lynn needs help from Liam. So look, I don't know what they're doing, but the writers are actually having some awesome chemistry with having Lincoln's friends actually interact with the Louds, and I'm in for it. I can't wait to see how more of these like interactions to happen.
Yeah, honestly, and I get the feeling that all the Lynn and Clyde shippers, they are just, fangasming at that particular scene.
This.
They'll be
are we going to ship them? No. I'm not shipping them.
Oh, Clyde is giving advice to Lynn. Oh,
no.
It's a ship.
Look. I am waiting to see if Chloe is actually a junior high, and I swear to God, we need to have another Clyde Chloe episode if that ever happens. Continue with continuity. Please let that happen.
No, I'm still pulling for Slide.
Oh, so you want Sid to actually come to the Louds. Okay. We'll have a comic for that soon. So
yes.
So let's continue on here. So they would end up going to Dairyland, and they want to immediately ride the roller coaster, only for Lynn to just continue to stall them. Like they instead watched like shows where they churned butter, rode a Dairyland. It's a Small World ride. Now that song's stuck in my head again. And even had to let the meanest cow in Michigan, Ursula, kind of relative because like Ursula's the meanest witch in the sea and Little Mermaid, loose in the park to close down the entire park. Omid, how did you like how Lynn was portrayed in this couple scenes here?
Lynn's actions they're actually sort of debatable. Some could argue that it was selfish of Lynn to commit these acts. Others could say that it was just careless, as she should have just outright admitted that she had a fear in the first place. I say it's a double-edged sword. I can see why Lynn would do this sort of thing, because, like I said, everyone's got a fear that they're afraid to admit. So they go through lengths to try to cover that. It's happened to all of us. But on the other hand, though, it was pretty selfish of her to hold her friends back from going on the ride. So honestly, it's kind of debatable. I will leave it up to the fans, honestly. But however, it goes crazy up to a point where the meanest cow in Michigan, Ursula, just lets loose and chases all the poor unfortunate soul.
Oh yeah. We're going to bring up Little Mermaid references now, aren't we?
It's sort of a massive coincidence. It's a coincidence that they would name a Disney villain, they would name a meanest cow after a Disney villain in a theme park that is essentially parodying Disneyland. I see what the writers are trying to do there, and I'm going to say, well played.
Mm. So yeah, I just kind of felt like, I understand Lynn's little situation here where she's like, I can't tell everybody that I'm scared of hurling or I can't ride this ride. So let's do other things like do shows or do all this. But by the way, her friends were kind of okay with that. I mean, cool and all, but come on. I mean, you can't just continue to like lag them behind and not let them ride, especially when you actually let go of a cow and let them not actually experience the ride at all and actually wasted their time in Dairyland because they couldn't even ride the ride. It's just weird behavior for Lynn. It's like, yeah, I understand you're trying to, you know, you're trying to not ride the ride and just stall everybody. It's more,
I know.
but it's like this is not Lynn behavior. Like you trying to be scared and you trying to do this kind of stuff. I was thinking like, you're a sport. You're a good sport. You should probably like, embrace it or and do something like that. I mean, like, when they're about to actually ride the ride, the freaking thing where she like spilled like coffee all over the electrical machine. I'm like, oh, are we really going there? So
Yeah.
I'm like, this is not Lynn behavior. And the thing is that, yeah, it just made me like really weird. Like they're watching the whole thing. I'm like, Lynn, just say it. I mean, why can't you, admit it that you're really scared of roller coasters or really scared of hurling? You could have just said that, but no, you're continuing to lag them, and it just makes me feel bad for Margot and Maddie, for example. So yeah.
Yeah, like I said, like I said, it's totally up for debate. Like I can't really, I can't really be on the oh, Lynn is completely selfish camp, nor can I really excuse what Lynn did either. Like when it comes to selfish episodes, like selfish character episodes, honestly, I'm going to say it's kind of, but not really. You could sort of understand where she's coming from because she does have a fear, and her fear does sort of control her vulnerabilities.
Mhm.
It's sort of human in a sense. So honestly,
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of human, but I don't think you want to actually just like lag your friends behind, which I think was kind of selfish for Lynn in that case.
like I said, like you guys have the floor. Loud Crowd Casa Group. What do you all think? Just type below what you think about this.
So eventually Lynn would tell her secret about her fear of throwing up and that her friends would be reasonable about it instead of being teased. I mean, you teased Paula, by the way. And best of all, they actually even apologized to Paula, telling me that they are really great friends, even if they can get a little bit overboard on things. So how do you like this part here where Lynn actually confesses and they all are forgiven?
First, I'm just going to get this out of the way. The best thing about this episode, hands down, is Paula herself. Paula was so amazing in this episode. She was really great. And especially at the ending, which we're going to touch upon later. But yeah, Paula just has this charm to her where, like, despite her, disability, despite her broken leg, like, she really does stand out as being, a friendly and athletic at the same time. Like, she really does stand out. And she and something about Paul, like, she's just bursting with energy. She perfectly fits in with Lynn's squad. I like that a lot. Now onto the scene. Now I sort of felt that the way Lynn's friends acted towards Paula towards Lynn, I gotta say it was a bit inconsistent. At first, like Lynn's friends, teased Paula at the beginning, but then I felt like that right after they teased her, they were like, just messing with you, Paula. We don't mean that. We're just teasing. We're just playing around. That actually would have shown Lynn. Then Lynn could have realized that, okay, they don't mind. They're just playing along, and then Lynn wouldn't have tried to hold her friends back from. Well, not intentionally hold her friends back. She didn't intentionally do that. See, that's the thing where I sort of say that it's debatable whether it's a selfish character episode or not, because she didn't really mean to hold her friends back from going on the ride. She's just trying to hold herself back. That's it. But with regards to this, I feel that this all could have been solved if Lynn's friends had just, like, right after teasing Paula, then say JK. I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
What was stopping her
Right.
from doing that?
I mean, this part here I think was just more forgivable for Lynn because yeah, Lynn messed up, pretty much like closed down Dairyland. And what happened next was that Lynn tried to forgive them. And what she did was try to take care of Ursula, just get her back in her pen and then open up the park again. And by then, you know, she pretty much admits like why I was acting like this and why I, you know, am scared of this. And the fact I don't know. Like if Lynn says something like I'm sorry, and then, you know, and then like her friends are okay with that, and then of course her friends also forgives Paula even though they teased Paula. You're right, there's a little bit of inconsistency. I'm like, wait, Margot, Maddie, you really are like a douche to Paula, yet you're okay. Then you have like your change of heart when Lynn actually tells you she's scared, and then you kind of, you know, forgive Paula too. I don't know. It felt weird, but you know what? All is forgiven, at least.
It was convenient. I'd say it was more plot convenient that, you know, towards the end, like, you know, oh, now they apologize to Paula when they should have done so like right at the beginning, like right after they teased Paula. It was sort of convenient timing, plot convenience, that sort of thing.
Mm-hmm, right. I guess it's more of like a plot convenience in that case. But anyways, all is forgiven. Was it Margot and Maddie ended up like riding the ride. Lynn is pretty much also on the side with Paula, but Lynn actually did throw up after all the shenanigans. You know, she ate cheese in the It's a Small World. She rode a really restless cow in in the park, which pretty much made her hurl.
She also drank that big drink right before they would go
exactly, which made her hurl, and eventually she would end up not fearing hurling anymore, which means she would go to ride the ride. Oh God, do you think this part was necessary?
Honestly, I feel that I see what they were trying to go with this, but on the other hand, I sort of feel that they shouldn't have had her throw. Like I see what they were going with this because it shows the audience that, you know, everyone throws up sometime in their lives. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's a natural part of being human. But then, like on the other hand, like I said, like the previous issue I mentioned before, this is a double-edged sword for me. I do see what they're trying to do with this, but on the other hand, if they decide to go with her not throwing up at all, that actually would have been effective as well because it would have helped enhance the message even more. It would have, in my opinion, it would have helped enhance the message even more that, you know, that's okay to be scared or something. Mm-hmm. But on the other hand, though, I feel that this was necessary because, like I said, it shows that there's no need to fear throwing up. Everyone throws up in their lives. It's just a natural part of life.
So you're thinking it's also like anybody can look at that scene and think of it like, oh, it's good, oh, it's bad. I kind of more like think like, oh, I don't think that actually a lesson is learned in this because I mean, like, yeah, she was scared of you know, hurling. That's why they pretty much she pretty much let Margot and Maddie pretty much ride the ride, and then, you know, she ends up like chilling with Paula, just waiting for them, and then she ends up hurling. I feel like it's better off if, like I said in the beginning, if it'd be better off if she actually said something like, "I'm scared of roller coasters." It would have been something like that, and then the scene would end up like, "Hey," the scene would end up would pretty much say like, oh, Lynn would just go up and say, "Hey, how's the ride? Hey, that's awesome," and everything. And then maybe Lynn might say like, I might change my mind and I'll actually try to ride a rider. I don't know. But I guess, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird way to end it. I mean, like, I felt like if they didn't put her hurling, that means that lesson is pretty much kept there. Now you kind of want to think like maybe Lynn should actually like hurl and, you know, yeah, see how it is, get her back into her feet, get out of her fear, to say the least. But it's like, maybe you could just wait. Maybe you could do it like a little bit more, like less than 30 seconds, like more than 30 seconds. Then maybe it could have been much more of a better episode. It looked like it was just really fast. Like, oh, you just hurled. Oh, you just changed your fear. You just ended your fear of hurling. It was just very quick. It was just very quick. And I'm like, No, you could have just done it in an episode. It's like you could have had like at least half an episode where she just continues to like eat something, then hurls. There you go. Your fear of hurling is over.
Yeah,
It just
honestly,
was too soon.
like the ending,
it felt too quick.
the ending was sort of a cop out in a sense.
Yeah, they keep on
Now that I
doing
think
that.
about
I don't
it,
like it.
like it sort of felt like a cop out ending, but like I said before, and I sort of have mixed feelings about this scene, just like I did with Lynn's intentions. Like those two parts, I sort of have mixed feelings about. So, like on one, with this scene in particular, on one hand, it felt like a cop out because she all of a sudden like threw up. Now she gets to go on the ride with Margot Maddie. All is well, Deus Ex Machina. But then on the other hand, though, like I said, throwing up is a natural part of life. Everyone goes through this. So I felt that they put it there to say that, throwing up is something to be ashamed of.
Yeah, I guess that's it is. But like I said, it was just a weird way of like how to end the episode, to say the least. But either way, Lynn is now ready to ride roller coasters and is okay to hurl, I guess. All right. So, anything else you want to talk about in this episode?
Yes. Paula and the new guy. Like, that's a new ship. New ship. All aboard. Let's go.
It's just a random guy that just walked by and Paula likes it. And I'm like, okay. So, you know what?
Yes.
Let's actually have look, in the next episode, we see Paula. He's going to be with that guy. Oh my God. We're having shit going.
I want
just a random guy.
Like, I want a Paula episode right now. I want a Paula episode with her and that guy, because honestly, Paula's my favorite of Lynn's friends, if I can be completely honest.
Well, Paula has showed up a lot more than Margot. So, I mean, then again, like Paula has been in like so many other situations. Like she was in the Glee Club with Lincoln and Clyde and Liam. She's everywhere. So to say the least, they're putting the secondary character into use, like what they did with Stella. So I'm pretty happy that they're not letting her like pretty much be like another random secondary character.
Exactly. And another thing too is that it's really helped that she's voiced by legendary voice actress Cree Summer.
Yeah, Cree Summer. Which, by the way, that new Rugrats show is coming out of Paramount Plus. So if y'all want to listen more about Cree Summer. And by the way, like when you listen to the preview of Rugrats, the new series, you can totally hear that. You can totally hear what was it? Susie Carmichael and that that voice that you always hear from the Rugrats. Yeah. Anyways, I don't want to get off topic here. But another thing I want to point out too. Look, that whole roller derby team. I'm pretty happy that they actually did bring a couple of them back. Obviously, Margot, Paula. Well, no, Paula wasn't a part of that team, but Maddie was actually part of that team. And I'm pretty happy that she's actually another secondary character that actually could get more screen time, because the rest of the other girls apparently don't have screen time. I'm just happy that they at least have Maddie there. So it's like, okay, she's still there. Maybe there could be more episodes coming up with her.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, if another Lynn episode comes up, let's have this crew continue to be like the voice, like continue to actually, be Lynn's friends. Cause like, yeah, this is Lynn Squad. So Lynn Squad will have Paula, we'll have Maddie, we'll have Margot. And you already have seen those episodes a lot. And I would imagine from all the episodes that you've seen, it makes sense for them to actually have like awesome episodes like what happened here in Hurl Interrupted.
Yeah, exactly. And not to mention others like Singled Out, Hero Today, Gone Tomorrow, all that stuff, like, gets to see more of Lynn's friends, and it's like, good. I want more episodes with Lynn and her squad.
Let's just
want
hope.
that.
Let's see, secondary characters need their justice. We can't just have like a red, like let them show up one time and then they're gone. I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, no, don't. Like, give them more potential, because they do have potential. The secondary characters here really have more potential than that.
For sure. All right. So overall rating, how do you rate this episode?
I'm gonna say it's a 7 out of 10. As a Lynn episode, it's a fine episode. Like, not one of the best Lynn episodes I've ever seen, but not one of the worst either. It's a fine, good episode, I'd have to say. Like I said, like Lynn's intentions in the episode, Lynn's motivations for trying to avoid to write the ride. Like, I was mixed on that. I had mixed feelings about that. I also had mixed feelings about the ending, where Lynn actually did throw up at the end, and all of a sudden she's good to go on the roller coaster. But I really do love the chemistry with between Lynn and her friends. I loved Paula. Like, Paula was what made this episode for me. She stole the show in this one. Shout out to Cree Summer. And also,
Okay.
Ursula was a very effective antagonist also. I mean, you know, she's a big, mean, mad cow. And let me tell you, she definitely has earned the name Ursula. I'm just saying.
I have to say, I'm going to say boat as well. 7 out of 10. I would say it was a good Lynn episode, but like I said before, if the fear wasn't hurling, then maybe it would have been something like roller coasters. Then I would actually agree with that. Right, Like, you know, Lynn is scared of actually telling his friends that roller coasters are not my thing, or something like that. And if they actually went through that, then that would be awesome. But hurling is something that you never expect. And then of course you get to see Lynn just continue to hold back her friends. Something that you never expect out of Lynn. But what happens at the end of the episode where she forgives him, where she pretty much admits it and forgives everybody, everybody's forgiven. I mean, that's, I believe, was one of the most crucial parts there. And of course, the ending where Lynn throws up and now she's back to normal was just like, why would you do that? So yeah, 7 out of 10. Not really the best Lynn episode, but you know what? Still pretty fair. I mean, I like everybody there. I mean, we now know Lynn's squad. You have Paula, Maddie, and Margot pretty much hanging around Lynn. And if they actually have more Lynn episodes, then I would love to have those guys continue to, you know, support Lynn or do whatever with them.
Yeah, honestly, I agree. Also, on relation to this episode, like, this is something I have to get off my chest. I don't like spinning rides. Like,
really? Yeah. Wait. So you don't like spinning rides? You don't like roller coasters either?
I love roller coasters. I just don't like spinning rides because they get me all dizzy.
Oh, okay. I'm not afraid of any like roller coaster rides. I mean, I was scared when I was like 10 talking about riding roller coasters, but I think it was like after I went through Disneyland, like rode through Space Mountain and rode through like Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. I think that my fear pretty much like got over with. So now I'm cool with whatever roller coasters are happening.
Yeah.
All right.
Roller coasters are yay. Spinning rides are nay.
All right, so let's move on to the next episode that also aired on Friday. It's called Diamonds Are Forever. So the synopsis here is, after Lola and Mr. Grouse find a diamond, the two struggle to decide who gets to watch over it. So first off, we get to see one of Mr. Grouse's hobbies, which is pretty much treasure finding. He has a metal detector, you know, look for like anything metal, and it could be something valuable. And which led to Lola finding a new hobby because she likes, you know, shiny things and, you know, wants to get money.
Bling, bling.
And this led to a competition between the two characters. How did you like this chemistry between the two characters that we've never seen them interact with each other? That you know, we never see these two actually interact before like this. So how did you feel seeing this kind of chemistry?
Oh my God! Let me tell you, this episode right here is a gem. I thoroughly enjoyed
like a diamond, right?
Yes. Loved it like a diamond. Oh, yes. The comedy of this is, you know, just as breathtaking, just as shiny, just as rich as a diamond. Let me tell you, because you got a rivalry, you got a bitter rivalry between the bratty little girl and the grumpy old man, and both of them do have their unapproachable moments at times, but when they clash together, oh my God, like, it is just a delight to watch. Like, it was so thoroughly entertaining. Like, the wacky double crossing, the back and forth dialogue, to the sneaky, sinister ways in which they try to get the riches themselves, the strategies that they come up with, and, you know, and even when they have to work together, they're still sus of each other. So they pretty much do all they can in order to achieve their own ends. Like, I have to say, I really love this episode because, like I said, it's a wacky rivalry between two characters who are kind of bitter themselves. They're greedy in their own way. Like, honestly, this sort of cartoonish rivalry is sort of similar to all the cartoon rivalries back in the early days, like Tom and Jerry or Bugs Bunny and Daffy Duck, or, you know, all that kind of stuff. It was just it gave me those vibes, and since it gave me those vibes, like it was really fun to see them just duke it out.
Hmm.
Oh God, I just thoroughly love this episode. Also, Lola is really great too, as always. It's definitely one of her best moments.
I have to say though, like having two people who have like little short tempers, having them interact is pretty entertaining. Just like Lola getting enraged, it's like I want to get gold too, or I want to get treasures as well. And of course, Mr. Grouse does the same thing as well. Of course, Mr. Grouse, like we should team up together. And it's like, no, I work alone, so that makes Lola, get her own Jeep in order for her to actually look for metal, for anything like metally or shiny. And just like the fact that the rivalry between the two of them became so bitter after just Lola trying to say, hey, if you want to work alone, then I'll do it myself. And of course, Mr. Grouse tried to get like as much treasure as well. It's just the interaction, the fighting between the two of them. It just makes it feels like, okay, these two are like hating each other, but
yeah, exactly. Like you see two people
well, they hate each other they hate each other in the beginning. They hate each other in the beginning. Yeah.
Like those two, you gotta admit, those two have quite a temper and they're sort of hard to be around at times. So honestly, that's what makes this chemistry work. That's what makes this rivalry work so well.
Oh yeah, I definitely agree. Especially when it comes to like something that they both like. Apparently, like Lola likes diamonds and a lot of diamonds. Lola likes money, and of course, Mr. Grouse likes treasure, and of course, those two really work together in this case. So eventually, they would find their own treasures, including a diamond that actually was buried in between both halves of Royal Woods. Which means that they can each split the value of the diamond and the trade show that we're going to do they were going to go to the next day. But it is the watching part of the diamond that gets interesting, which these two had to trust each other in order to make sure the diamond is safe in the trade show. That is not easy between these two. How did you like this part between these two? Because they're just watching the diamond together, and things go awry between these two when they're trying to watch it with Diamond.
Like, it is just as fun. It is just as entertaining to see these two compromise and try to work together as it is them like duke it out, like battle each other. It's like they somehow managed to make both scenarios work really well. And it's due to the fact that they work well off each other because they have a similar, hard personality and similar wants, similar needs. And so it's really fun to see Lola and Mr. Grouse in the same room, like try to watch the diamond together, and then they grow and then they become sus of each other, like, Mr. Grouse, you're sus. And I'm like, and Mr. Grouse is like, Lola, you stole the diamond. You're sus yourself.
Oh my god! Oh, we gotta play a lot more Among Us now. No, my thing though is like, when Mr. Grouse had to go to the bathroom, then Lola's like, "Why'd you leave this diamond out? I gotta go find out this diamond." And of course, Mr. Grouse comes in, it's like, "What are you doing with my diamond?" And then everything just goes right. It's like, yeah, we never trust each other, so we're going to sit together and see how the diamond works.
Yeah.
So
and then to see these two like tear each other's houses like apart. Like the creative writing, the creative ways that they make it so thoroughly entertaining to watch, like, just it is just top-notch comedy. Like, it is just just like the diamond, the comedy in this episode is just rich.
I say so, yeah. I think the comedy, especially between those two, especially when they're trying to look for each other with the diamond, is just crazy. Now, eventually the diamond would, be in a case that Lola found, but then the diamond would disappear, actually. This led to an all-out aggressive search for the diamond between the two of them. I mean, you already explained most of it, but yeah, Mr. Grouse is pretty much trashing the Loud's house. Lola is trashing Mr. Grouse's house just to find a diamond. So he's like ripping up furniture. Even Mr. Grouse is pretty much like drilling on the Loud house, trying to figure out like where the diamond is. And I'm like, okay, you guys are crazy just to find a diamond.
Yes.
How about you, Obi? How did you feel about this part here? It was just a lot of hilarity.
Yes, like, it is just top-notch comedy. This wacky, out of this world, thrashing, crashing, and bashing. Like I said, this gives me huge vibes that I get from the classic cartoons like Tom and Jerry and Looney Tunes. Like it was that creative, it was that thrilling, it was just that fun to watch. Like I thoroughly enjoyed it. Like the scene and the entire episode from beginning to end.
Yeah,
Yes.
I just have to say, Mr. Grouse with your like what was it, jackhammer right there. I'm like, what the heck? You really have to like drill around the Loud House just to find a diamond. I'm like, dang, what?
Yeah,
Lola's not gonna bury it.
And you got Lola with her car like crashing the hell out of Mr. Grouse's
Yeah,
place
she was
too.
pretty much like taking out a fridge out of her house, and I'm like, wow, this is going insane here.
Yeah, whoever wrote this episode, like I gotta tell you, the writers here are huge experts in cartoony writing, slapstick, and comedic timing. It is just a combination of all of these. Is just it is just a sight to behold. It was breathtaking.
Mm-hmm. It was just great. I mean, the funny part too was like the Loud family trying to figure out, wait, what's going on here, and then you can see Lynn Senior just fall through a hole. It's just great. All right, so in the end, the diamond was found in a case because it was one of Lincoln's magic props. The two of them would get cash for that diamond. It seems that they were going to split the cash. Either way, Mr. Grouse did lose all that money because the Loud House was pretty much damaged, and all of that was going to pay it all off. Lola would actually come in and help Mr. Grouse with like some funds. Eventually, it seems that there was going to be a brand new friendship between Lola and Mr. Grouse. So how'd you like about this ending here?
Hey, Mr. Grouse, you got another Loud as your friend, right? I mean, you got Lynn.
You had Lynn, who's a Lions fan. You have Lola, who's also a treasure hunter as well. Who next?
Exactly. I like how Mr. Grouse is developing personal friendships with the Louds. I think the first one, honestly, the first Loud kid that he would be friends with is Lincoln, considering 11 Louds a leap-in. So technically, it's three kids that Mr. Grouse bonded with. Like, I really do love the ending and how they build a friendship between them over mutual regret, mutual guilt over being sus of each other and trashing each other's houses and trashing each other. I like how they come to a compromise. They do take the diamond to the stone convention, and of course they get a ton of money. However, I do like that the episode points out that the characters do need to be punished in some way because they did went a little too crazy over trying to find the diamond. It's like the greed got to both of them, so of course they paid the price figuratively and literally. So I do love that Lola. Like, of course, we have seen Lola act, even though she's a bratty princess girl. Like, I do love that they still carry that trait that in which she manages to make things right in the end. She feels bad, then she makes things right in the end. Like, I really do love that they still carry that trait with Lola because it shows how Lola Loud is much more than meets the eye. Like, she's much more dimensional than your typical bratty little girl.
Mm-hmm. I just feel like this definitely really does reflect well for Mr. Grouse, just because Mr. Grouse is sometimes he hates the Louds. You always see that around season 1 and season 2. Now he's getting more fond of the Louds. Like, you get to see Mr. Grouse hang out with Lynn, and then there's like a little fight between those two of them. But eventually, those two are still hanging out watching sports. And this time around, Mr. Grouse is hanging out with Lola. And now Mr. Grouse has a treasure partner, whom before he said he was going to work alone, and eventually Lola, like, what was it? Mr. Grouse warmed up to Lola, and both of them are now like working together to find treasure and possibly getting a lot of money out of that. So, I have to say this though. I mean, like, they're putting Mr. Grouse as a really awesome secondary character now. I mean, yeah, we'll see a lot of Lola episodes, but I like how they just integrated Mr. Grouse and put him pretty much like as a big focus as well. Like, yeah, he's just a regular secondary character, but they made him like part of like you said with Clyde back in Hurl Interrupted. They're kind of doing the same thing with Mr. Grouse as well. Like, put a secondary character, like try to be a part of the Loud family, try to help him be associated with the Louds even more. And you've seen that before with all these episodes, like Good Sports and Diamonds Are Forever. So I'm feeling that there's a trend going on. It's like, yeah, we need these secondary characters actually, be more in touch with the Louds, and it's working. It's working.
Sam.
She already
Sam,
is. Oh, you want Sam to be
Sam.
You want Sam to be more associated with the Louds?
Yes,
Like
we want
besides
more
Luna,
Sam.
right?
Yes.
Besides Luna,
we want more Sam episodes. We want more Sam bonded. Well, technically, she bonded with Alana, but that was back in the Listen Out Loud podcast episode.
Yeah.
Yes. But I'm saying in the actual show, we want more Sam. We want more Sam episodes. We want more Sam bonding with the other Louds besides Luna. We just want more Sam, like, period. Okay?
Okay, all right. This is a huge Sam fan, okay? All right. All right, so anything else you want to talk about in this episode?
Yes. I sort of wonder who Mr. Grouse is going to bond with next. LoudCasa crew, please type in the comment below and let us know, who do you think Mr. Grouse will bond with next? Who's the next Loud kid that Mr. Grouse is going to have an episode with? Please comment below. Let us know.
I don't know. I mean, that's a really good question. Who next? Maybe I don't think Lucy, because I don't think Mr. Grouse is going to be all into creepy stuff. Maybe Lana, because maybe pets or something. Maybe Mr. Grouse has a new pet and then needs Lana's help, FYI, which we're kind of talking about in the next episode.
We're going to touch upon that.
By the way, I do want to point this out. Look, they have never forgotten Lincoln's magic. Lincoln loves to be a magician, and he shows it off again in this episode. So to say the least, like, they're trying to make Lincoln become like a future magician. Like, probably he's gonna go to Las Vegas. Maybe like his future career will be like in Las Vegas, like, hey, being a magician full time in one of the casinos or something like that. No, but the thing is, like, here's the continuity part. It's like, okay, Lincoln was not obviously the important part in this episode, but you know what, though? You're still doing the continuity here, which tells me that Lincoln still loves his magic, and it shows up here in this episode. So yeah, I'm pretty happy that they continued with the fact that, like, yeah, Lincoln likes magic, and it shows up in the episode. So how did you feel about? Well, what's your rating on the episode?
Okay, I have to touch upon before I get into the rating, I have to touch upon Lincoln doing his magic. I have to say I was thoroughly impressed by how the writers were still managing to carry Lincoln's interest all the way through to this episode as well, because we have seen in Casa Grande's episode Horoscope, as well as Loud House episode Saved by the Spell, in which Lincoln is really heavily into magic. You know, like he wants to become the next David Copperfield or something like that. So I was really impressed. I was really happy to see, Lincoln still pursuing his passion for magic. I mean, despite the fact that Lynn wasn't exactly the most supportive of his magic, but then again, let's be honest, Lincoln's friends weren't much better either. Okay, I'm just saying.
Okay, well, let's get reminisce more on the episode, okay? But anyways, what's your rating on the episode?
Oh, for me, this is a 9.5 out of 10.
Wow, almost a 10. Wow.
I got to tell you, like, this was one of the funnest episodes I have ever watched. Like, it was a blast to watch. It was a gem. From its comedic writing to its back and forth dialogue to the chemistry between two hot-tempered characters, the bratty little girl Lola and the grumpy old man Mr. Grouse, to its touching ending, to its comedic, like, to its wacky double crosses, to pretty much everything that makes this episode such a hoot. Like just the comedy, like everything about this is just as rich as its diamond. The only downside, though, is, of course, the other John DiMaggio character.
Come on, really? Is that the reason why this is why it's 9.5, because Flip had to be in it?
Let's just say that there could have been some other character that would have played this role in terms of saying that the diamond is in the middle. Oh, don't even get me started on the gross, entirely gross, just sickening back joke. Just the sickening back joke. Just never again. Just get him off the show, please.
Oh
But other
my
than
god.
that, this was a real gem to watch.
Okay.
No pun intended.
All right. All right. I would say this was a really good episode. I did love the whole chemistry between Lola and Mr. Grouse. You never expect these two to actually hang out, but they made it work, and now they're pretty much good friends now. I have to give this an 8 out of 10 though. Really, I mean, it is entertaining, especially during the last couple of scenes in the episode. But it was kind of a hard time to actually like follow up on like what's going on. I'm like, yeah, Lola getting into jewelry. Mr. Grouse, not rivaling with Lola, and a lot of things can happen. A lot of things happened in this episode that kind of made me like wonder, wait, did I miss something, or I don't know. Yeah, and you're right. Flip kind of did appear, and it doesn't really degrade my grade there, but it's like, yeah, I would say like it wasn't a bad episode, but there could have been more that would have like helped me think that there would be more of a connection between Lola and Mr. Grouse. But either way, I'm just glad that those two are now interacting more. Okay, so all right, so let's move over to our episode previews since we have new episodes coming out tomorrow. They're both Loud House episodes that will be appearing at 7 p.m. Nickelodeon. So let's head over to our first episode for tomorrow. We're going to be previewing these, so let's make a little bit of a small discussion of like what these episodes are going to be about. First up is Rumor Has It. The synopsis here is Lincoln and the gang are trapped in the woods with Mr. Bullhoffner, who may not be whom he says he is. So what are your thoughts on this episode? How do you think this episode's going to go?
I think this episode is going to show how Mr. Bullhoffner is more than meets the eye. Like anything can happen with Mr. Bullhoffner just by the synopsis alone. I feel that there could be a chance that they could make Mr. Bullhoffner look as human as possible. Try to give like some sort of backstory as to why he became this grumpy, stinky, asshole teacher. Because let's be real here. If you recall Hero Today, Gone Tomorrow, Mr. Bullhoffner was actually quite a normal guy. He was pretty chill. He was a pretty chill teacher. And not to mention that he, of course, didn't have the body odor or the breath, that he had in school. He was actually well hygiened. In Hero Today, Gone Tomorrow, he was well hygiened. He was very polite to his students, and he was actually very approachable. So I really hope that this episode can really give out some sort of reason as to why he became so bitter nowadays. Some have argued that it's because, they moved him from a regular classroom to a trailer, and that could be the reason why. Like, the air condition isn't really that great. But I feel that there's got to be a reason why he got transferred into the trailer, because it's not just, for no petty reason. There's got to be an actual reason.
Mm. So my thing is that when I first saw the preview clip on, on Twitter, I was thinking that this is going to be probably like a horror film, like how it seems to look. It's like how it seems to be like, oh, look, all of them are going to a school bus. Probably the school bus broke down and they're probably riding with Mr. Bullhoffner, or maybe the bus broke down and they were riding with Mr. Bullhoffner. And then like things happen where like Mr. Bullhoffner is like, oh, he has a knife. Oh, he's doing this. Oh, he's doing that. And then Lincoln and the squad is like, man, we're dealing with a killer. Help us. I just feel like there's going to be a lot of tense moments in this episode. It just makes me feel like, okay, there's going to be like maybe some scary parts that will happen in this episode. Hopefully, like, I just hope like one of the people in the squad, it probably gets like kidnapped or something. It's like, where's Zach? Where'd he go? And then you hear Zach scream, and then we have to find Zach, and all of that stuff. I feel like that's going to happen. But in this episode, I do want to say we need to have more emphasis on Mr. Bullhoffner. I mean, like, yeah, he is this nasty old dude this season, but yeah, you're right. I mean, was a really nice guy in the fourth season with Hero Today, Gone Tomorrow. If they actually did reflect more on like who Mr. Bullhoffner is before he became a really grouchy teacher like that, maybe that would make it a good episode. I have high feelings of this episode that we get to see more of Mr. Bullhoffner, who he is, why he's a grumpy teacher. And the fact that this could be a tense episode, and we have some tense episodes before, like One Flew Over the Loud House. So I have to say,
yeah, I love that episode. One Flew Over the Loud House is honestly one of my absolute favorite Loud House season 1 Loud House episodes, and it remains as one of my favorite Loud House episodes in general. I love One Flew Over the Loud House, by the way.
So yeah, I have to say, I'm really excited to see how this goes. I really hoping that this is going to be like a thriller episode, and I can't wait to see.
Yeah.
Like, look, no one dies, right? No one dies, right? I hopefully no one dies. All right, let's over to our
Also,
next.
another thing too is that, like I said, there's so much you could do with Mr. Paul Hoffman in that episode. Like you could take either approach, or there are many routes you could take with this character. Like you can make him either a scary character from beginning to end, or you can have him as a sympathetic character from beginning to end. Honestly, I like to see him do both. I want to see Mr. Bullhofter as a scary yet sympathetic character. Like the way I would write him is that, honestly, like have him be, the scary character that does play as the monster in this thrilling episode. But then towards the end, or towards at least the middle, have him give his reason as to why he became this way, and also have him apologize for scaring the Lincoln and his crew.
I have a feeling that's gonna happen, and I'm pretty sure, like in the last scene, it's going to be like Mr. Pearl Hoffner, like being all evil, like laughs evilly. That tells me, like, yeah, he's still an evil guy. Or it'd be pretty funny like that. All right, yeah. So we pretty much explained our thoughts about Rumor Has It. Now the next episode is gonna be very exciting for me because it's Stella actually interacting with one of the Louds, not Lincoln, by the way, but he actually interacted with him more. The episode is called Training Day. The synopsis here is Lana gets more than she bargained for when she takes on Stella's untrainable bunny. Omid, want to share what are your thoughts on this episode, and how do you think this episode is going to be?
Okay, when I saw this, I was thinking to myself, oh, okay, Stella and Lana, nice. This is going to be the Marcy and Maddie of the Loud House.
Really? Oh, okay, we're pretty amphibia here. All right. Yeah, Justice for Amphibia, by the way. Swear to God, we need a freaking True Colors to come out now.
Yes, we do. And coincidentally enough, like both characters in both trios, like coincidentally enough, each character in both trios are voiced by the same actress, Haley Ju.
Yep.
But yeah, when I saw this, I was thinking to myself, okay, we see Stella bonding with one of Lincoln's sisters. Yes, I'm all for it. Let's go. Stella bonding with a Loud sister. I think we've all been waiting for this to happen.
Yeah, we've been waiting for that to happen for sure. Now, if we're going to talk... What's that?
I'm just saying, like, okay, like, it would be a dream episode, like, for you in particular, if Stella would bond with Lori. If they had a Lori and Stella episode.
Oh my God, that would be so cool. Oh, it'd be like Lori's in college, so I don't know if she's actually if Stella actually, or Lori goes back to Loud House and actually interacts with Stella. That'd be awesome. But let's think about, well, I'll share my thoughts on Training Day, and maybe you could put more about it. But I'm kind of angry that it's not the same bunny as in White Hair. It would have been awesome if it was the Stella bunny from White Hair.
I know, right? What was up with that?
Maybe that would have been more of a continuation part there if they ever did that. But I'm not gonna complain, nitpick everything detail about it. But what I'm looking at it, when I first saw the preview on Twitter, it made me feel like this is an episode where it's mostly about Lana, because it's like more like, oh yeah, Stella just pretty much brought a bunny home. And, she's pretty much being lethal to all her friends. So Lincoln pretty much gave advice to Stella, like, hey, my sister knows about pets. So then they go to the Loud House. Pretty much Stella sees Lana train pets. So, Stella drops off Lana's pet, her pet to Lana. And then Lana tries her best to, like, train her. But looks like she's more lethal than what Lana ever expected. So at the same time, it makes me think that Stella would have to come in and also help Lana out. And it's more like, I think this is more like where Stella needs help and Lana's there to help her out. And it's awesome to see something like that. And like more interactions with like Lincoln's friends and the Loud sisters. And here we go again. We're having another episode like that. And I can't wait to see how this episode goes. I'm pretty happy that this episode ever existed, like Stella hanging out with one of the Loud sisters. I'm gonna be very surprised if Lana says like, "Hey, like now I understand why you." Now I understand why Lincoln likes you. Not like right? Not like a friend.
Yes. Oh my God. There has to be this has to be a moment where Lana becomes a Stellican shipper. Like I kind of want that.
Well, she did. She was a shipper of Luna and Sam. That's the reason why Sam said. That's the reason why Lana said like, yeah, that's the reason why Luna likes you. See, something like that.
Yes.
If that ever happens, I'll be like, look, that means Stellican fans are winners tomorrow.
Stellican fans rejoice! Stellican fans rejoice! Rejoice! Stellican fans rejoice!
Like me, I'm a Stellican fan, so yes.
Yeah, honestly, I kind of wouldn't. I don't think I'd be that surprised if I actually hear Lana mention, "Oh, hey, you're Lincoln's girlfriend," and then
no, I'll freak the fuck out if I ever hear that.
And then Lincoln and Stella would say at the same time, like, he's not my boyfriend, she's not my girlfriend.
So it's kind of like relative chaos.
Sort of like relative chaos. Yeah.
All right. Anything else you want to share? Your thoughts in Training Day, or that's all you got to say?
Honestly, not much I could say except that, like I said, we've been waiting to see a Stella and Loud Sister episode for so long, and we got it. It makes me think that, okay, just like with Mr. Krause, who is Stella going to bond with next? Lori? Lori?
Oh, yeah, that'll be my dream. That'll be my dream if it ever happens. Oh my God. What if Stella's like, man, I wish I had some advice about dating. FYI, Lori dates Bobby, so well, we'll see. It gets my hopes up now about having hopefully a Lori and Stella episode, but we'll see. Anyways, so that's pretty much it for our LoudCasa Talks mini episode. We reviewed Hurl, Interrupted, and Diamonds Are Forever. Of course, Rumor Has It and Training Day do come out tomorrow. So check on Nickelodeon at 7:00 tomorrow to check out the brand new episodes of Loud House, and we'll be back here next Thursday to review those episodes. Reminder that you can listen to our LoudCasa Talks whenever you listen to podcasts like Spotify, Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to podcasts. And we're also always recording live here on YouTube. If you're not a subscriber yet on YouTube, please subscribe, and also hit the bell button in order for you to get notified of whenever we record a brand new episode of LoudCasa Talks or any of the mini episodes. But next Sunday, we're going to have a brand new LoudCasa Talks. We're going to be talking about Lenny as we continue on our future of how the Louds are going to be from season 5 and beyond. Lenny has a lot of possibilities for her, knowing that she is a mayor's assistant. She works in retail. The possibilities are endless of who Lenny will be. So we're going to be discussing about how Lenny's future is going to look like and a whole lot more this Sunday on our next episode of LoudCasa Talks. And that's pretty much it for us here. So thank you very much for listening in and watching our stream here. And, listening to our reviews, fangasming over ships and all that kind of stuff. Anyways, that's it for me here. My name is Nate.
And this is Omid saying thank you all so much for watching. And thank you all so much for listening to our thoughts on these recent Loud House episodes. And like Nate said before, don't forget to check out Rumor Has It and Training Day tomorrow night at Nickelodeon. And so let me just say once again, thank you all so much for watching. Thank you all so much for listening. And until next time, smell you later, dudes.